Hey everyone, Oostin here. A little over a week ago, Studio Wildcard's yearly Extra Life charity stream came to a close, raising $131,000 for children's hospitals. During this stream, we got so many cool and exciting reveals for everything from Extinction, Bob's Tall Tales, the new DLC, and even some information regarding ARK 2, even though they said they weren't going to talk about it. Alongside of those awesome reveals, we also got 6 new clips from Part 2 of ARK the Animated Series, which we'll be discussing here today. As per tradition, I can't talk about the show without being joined by my good friend Blockbeam to discuss and analyze these clips that we were given. I won't be sharing any of the actual clips in the video as to not anger the copyright gods, since I'd prefer to get this video out without much hassle, so if you haven't seen them yet, I will provide a link in the description for you to go check them out. I'd also like to thank my good friend ARK for doing the thumbnail for this video. I love the little chibis of our characters, and I just think it's so adorable. If you want to see more of what ARK has to offer, his Twitter will be in the description below. With all that being said, let's get started.
Alright, it is good to be back. So much has happened in so little time.
Indeed.
A lot of good stuff with Extra Life, and a lot of good stuff with the anime series. So I guess we'll just start right at the bat with clip one. They said in Extra Life that we're getting a lot more of Henry in part 2, and I'm gonna use season 2 and part 2 interchangeably, just as like a fair warning here. But when I say season 2, I mean part 2. I'm really glad we're getting more of Henry, because he was always somebody that, like, I have this feeling they wanted to do more of him in part 1, but they just didn't have the room for it. And this whole scene is great. I gotta admit, I'm a sucker for themes of destiny and defying it or changing it. And having the generational song play, or that Henry sings, we don't get to hear it at all. Like, we hear, like, the last bit, but it moves Helena. And it probably helps the baby Spinos go to bed. They are very eepy looking. But you know, the like Henry's little playful, like, why can't you choose both? In the science and what's the word I'm looking for? Arts. Thank you, Houston. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah.
Is really good. I like the, well, why can't you choose both? And Helena questioning, you know, is the ARK a second chance? Which, no, it's hell. The ARKs are pretty miserable. They're pretty scary. But yeah, I think a lot of people would take solace in, like, we have a second chance. This is the chance to do something good here.
I very much like that she's questioning the ARK too, because while I do admit, like, I do like her character a lot more in the show than in the notes, I kind of missed Helena being, like, constantly wondering what the ARK was, and, you know, being very curious about it. And she never really gets the chance to do that in the show, because off the bat she's already attacked by Nerva, and all she has to focus on is, you know, not getting murdered by Nerva.
Surviving, you could say, in the show based on ARK survival.
Oh, I didn't correlate that.
Would be a reference. We'll keep you posted if we find anything.
Another thing that I think is really funny is that we just know that there's a guy named Carlo and he dies. So
yeah, he's gonna appear on screen, and I'm just gonna take a shot, being like, "This one's for you, buddy."
Man, I really hope he's a good character too, so that I can get really sad when he's inevitably killed.
Yeah, didn't they say that this scene was also, like, that Henry and Helen had to go on, like, a quest?
Yeah, they're going out. They're going doing something, but we're not sure what.
Questing. They're fetch questing.
I still think they're looking for a lassie, like we mentioned in our part 2 video, but then again, there's some other clips that maybe they aren't looking. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess we could have saved this for, like, the overall recap, but I think it's worth noting that, like, as well with this, they did confirm this is a few months. Did they say how many months?
I'm pretty sure they just said it's been a few months.
It's been a few months. Okay, so we can't do a 6-month meme. Okay, anyway, yeah, that it's been a few months, and since the ending of part 1, and I originally said in the part 2 discussion that I wasn't a huge fan of Helena's redesign, because, like, it is more more accurate hairstyle, but I kind of liked how she looked beforehand. But I gotta say, the design of Helena has really grown on me as, like, as she's like become more tough, that the island sort of hardened her, and she's, you know, more adept at surviving than she was previously.
Yeah.
It's just nice to have that like inherent character growth.
I think they also mentioned that like she has grown muscle since part 1 as well.
I can't tell.
Yeah, I can't tell either. But if Jeremy has never lied to me before, so other than
No,
that one time and that other time and that other time.
No, Jeremy is a man of. We love you, Jeremy. Okay, I should also say this just here. They said during Extra Life that they were very vigilant and they saw a lot of things about the animated series. On the chance that Jeremy Wildcard, you saw our thing and are watching this now, hi, we love you.
Yeah, no, I make jokes about you all the time, Jeremy. But if you are watching this, you're not. You're probably not. You're too good for our little video here. But no, thank you for everything you've done for this game and this franchise.
And I also have to just so you're completely aware, we do call you Jeremy Wildcard, just all the time.
Yeah. But I mean, I think that's pretty much it for the first clip.
Yeah, it's really just I think it sort of just sets the tone for it. It sets the tone of what they want to do with this part, where it's people, like people's places on the Ark, and what is Helena doing with her second chance, air quotes, at life on the Ark? Is she just sticking to who she was, or should she change a little bit to, you know, embrace some of that art stuff? Or should she just stick to being the scientist?
Yeah.
Before we say anything, we have to acknowledge. Actually, no, I'm outing you. I don't care anymore. This can't go on any longer, Houston. So, for the dear viewers at home, the way we're doing this is we're rewatching the clips, making sure we have what we need, and then we're talking about them. And in the middle of that last clip, Oofston pauses it at like 20 seconds and it goes, block. It's the standing torch from ARK.
I don't know.
And I just anyway, the scene. I gotta say, the anime series, one thing that it does really well is these like character-to-character interactions with when it's just two people talking, because this doesn't necessarily serve, like, it's not really exposition. It's more storytelling with, you know, with a little bit of exposition. But it's not just pure exposition, which I think is really good. The one thing that just nails this scene is Helena and Mei's relationship, you can tell, is really good. But it seems almost sort of reserved in some places. And it's possible that after their woke kiss, that's a joke, by the way, their moment, that they either sort of come out of their shells a little bit, or they're sort of pretending like it didn't really happen. I guess what I'm trying to say is there is a clear tension, like romantic or otherwise social tension in this scene, which I think is really well executed. It's like you can sort of tell something's up, that they're both not saying something they want to be.
Yeah.
Which is really, really impressive in animation and in voice acting.
Like, because when you could like, we know that everyone recorded their lines in their closets, but like it sounds like they're in the room together, or I guess in the sparring arena together.
Yeah. The sort of like more animation details that I really like is that, so in Extra Life they said that Mei-yin being injured, and a later clip will even show this, Mei-yin being injured from being crucified is a pretty big point in season or part 2, which I think is very good, because Mei-yin definitely is like straight up the best fighter they have. So nerfing her, you know, is a really smart idea, I think, for like story and tension wise. The other really nice detail I like a lot, and I gotta say that I have no idea if it's actually a thing or not, with the like your index finger and your middle finger pressed together with your thumb bent, where like, you know, you stick your sword out in that sort of way and like have your finger, like, I have no idea if that's actually a thing in Chinese fighting styles, but I love that Helena does it because she's learning from Mei-yin, who does it. that like she's not doing it because like she's mocking her. That's how she was taught to use a sword,
Mhm.
which I think is a really cool little character, like a really cool little character detail of that, like how she's training. Because we were told that while Helena does get muscle up, there's clearly like she definitely has more muscle in this clip than the last one. She's having Helena not be kind of this pathetic damsel is a really good thing. And I lost it when Jeremy had said this because we sort of, even you and I said this in part 5 episode, that like Mayin probably could have killed Nerva really easily, but because she
Yeah.
used to keep saving Helena over and over, Nerva keeps getting a little bit of breathing room, which I think is such a cool little thing. Like she make her better to fight, even though she's not a fighter. Like you don't want this character to be completely defenseless, and I think that's a really good idea.
So for the people watching at home, Block and I watched Extra Life together for at least like the first like 8 hours, right?
I joined late. We watched basically about 10ish hours of it together though.
Okay. But as soon as Jeremy pointed out, like, yeah, so Megan probably would have won the fight against Nerva without Helena being there. We ooh, we started like cheering because we were right. Like, I mean, it was kind of obvious in the way that the show had been showing it to us, but I don't know. It felt really good that like something that I kind of called in during that episode was confirmed by one of the creators.
Yeah, it's really gratifying when you say something, you're like, I noticed this, and the creator's like, yeah, that was the intention. But like, yes.
But that, I mean, the only other thing I can really think of in this scene is like, yeah, Elassie at the end shows up being like warning of raiders, but I don't think it's actually going to be Nerva and his men.
No, I don't think so.
Because I feel like she would have been like, oh shit, Nerva's coming. The other thing though is Helena being like, oh, well, why can't I just headbutt someone? Which is something that she does constantly in part 1.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot. I literally at the start of this stuff I was like, I should talk about the headbutt thing, but I forgot that. Yeah, that's like a like, what if I just headbutt them? And Mayan is just like, try it.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's about it for clip number 2.
The only thing I want to add quickly is I do really enjoy that upon Mayan like losing, air quotes, and Helena being like, my victory still counts, like a sore loser, and like a sort of annoyed older sibling is like 2 out of 3.
So in clip 3, one thing that I really like is Henry and May, because in part 1, like they kind of were at each other's throats the whole time. They are on much better terms now,
Yeah, they're trying to mend their relationship, which is really good.
and they're talking about like May leaving the Alliance, and at first I thought that this was about like her getting kidnapped, but no, I think this is like the original when they kind of exiled her because her plan failed and got a lot of people killed by Nerva's hand.
Yeah,
Which we now know is Rockwell's fault.
a little scamp.
Also, they're just taking this guy. He's not even gagged or anything. He doesn't interrupt their conversation at all.
Maybe, I mean, it'd be rude. Like, what do you? They're having a heartfelt moment, and he's like, "Are we there yet?" And they like, May just beats him. Like,
I have a feeling that maybe this is probably someone from the Raiders that attacked them from the last clip. But I guess, I mean, we have really no way of knowing.
yeah, he's just wearing fur, and that's his personality. We'll call him Fur Man.
Yeah. The only other thing is like, yeah, they both really miss John, which is really good because I can't see this clip being like from episode 7, so I'm glad that he still has like an effect on the show episodes after he dies.
Yeah,
Because I really liked him.
yeah, he was John. I have to give huge props to where, honestly, I am more invested in the original characters' stories as opposed to the author's stories.
Mm.
And getting to see more of Henry is really exciting. And I'm really like, John was a great, like, he was sort of the main original character besides, like, the authors. and him being, I really like when media does not have a character die and it's just like, well, he's dead. Anyway, like the impact of what John did and what he stood for and the message he put is still going to be affecting this show. He wasn't just like a sacrifices himself and they mourn him and then they never talk about him again. He did stuff. It mattered, and him being gone really affects the characters.
Yeah, and what he did in episode 6 is gonna lead to their ultimate victory in probably episode 14, I'd say. Like, I can't see them winning sooner than that, unless their theory about episode 14 being a Scorched Earth only episode, which isn't gonna happen, but still.
Keep dreaming, pal.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it would. I mean, look, Scorched Earth has no content, so they'd be off that in one episode.
Me when Scorched Earth.
If they're on Scorched for longer than an episode, I will riot.
Didn't we say we'll do a the Scorched episode is only one episode. This is in reference to the fact that it takes a good player 2 days to beat Scorched Earth.
No, it takes a good player like 12 hours to beat Scorched Earth. Probably less than that.
We beat Scorched in actually like 3 days, but because ARK broke, we had to wait.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean.
Yeah, because ASA sucks. I love it, but it sucks.
You hear that, Jeremy Wildcard? We actually lied. We hate ARK.
Yeah. But the only other thing, I guess, the village that at the end of the clip, that is probably the village that is in clip 5, the Ragnarok clip, which I know is going to be your favorite clip.
Oh, yeah. Ragnarok. I'm such a good man.
Bison. Alright, so in clip number 4, we see, Helena, Alassie, and Kor, and they seem to be at, Kor's, like, mountain base.
What?
What do you mean, what?
Oh, yeah. No, they are at Kor's base. I thought they were in, like, the Redwoods. My bad.
Oh, you know what? It does kind of look like the Redwoods.
There's trees.
No, the fuck there isn't. But, Kor, he refers to no longer having an army, and that's probably Rockwell's doing. As the Rockwell expert, can you confirm?
That mischievous scamp. He's just messing around. Listen, if they couldn't withstand the poison, they weren't meant to be.
Oh, you know what? That's a good point, actually. But it's also just Helena and Alassie here, and I guess
That
Scary too.
Don't forget Scary.
I think Alassie might have gone out on her own to find Kor, and then Helena's like, "No, the fuck you aren't. You're not leaving."
Yeah. I think we're pretty set on that Alassie's gonna like something's gonna happen and she's gonna like lash out and be like, "I don't want to be here," or "I'm a teenager, you can't hold me here" type beat.
Yeah.
And I really hope that there's no audio pollution, but my roommates just started screaming, so if you hear random screaming, it's not the people in my basement, it's my roommates.
Oh, okay. I lost my train of thought because of the people in your basement screaming.
Yeah, my bad. All right, well here I'll pick up for you.
Okay.
Army of Standing Apes, lay monkeys, big monkeys.
Which I will say, this is the one clip that we actually did do a double take for, which is funny because in that first take, we took a little time to go back to the first trailer to look at something. So in that first trailer, in the Megapithecus arena, it is just Kor, Lassie, and Helena, and they are wearing the exact same clothes they're wearing now.
They're wearing the same stuff. Helena's not wearing armor yet.
Because originally the whole thing was like, well, the Army of Standing Apes, they could be a tribe, but we're like 100% certain now that the Army of Standing Apes is just a bunch of Gigantopithecus that are being like held by the Megapithecus.
Yeah, I think we had said that like to beat the Megapithecus is to like prove yourself worthy to the ape army, and they'll be like, "Oh, you can lead us now."
Yeah. The last thing though that I would like to mention is that this is kind of the perfect opportunity to do a nice little reference to the Explorer Notes.
Yeah.
So Helena is riding an Argentavis, and we're kind of hoping that either Kor's like, "Oh, you can name this," or Kor's gonna be like, "Ah, you chose Athena, a good choice," or just something like that. It's such an easy way to win, favor from people, and like it'd be kind of stupid. You give Helena an Argent, At least let it be named Athena, right?
Wasn't Rockwell? I've been playing TF2, so I apologize if I'm TF2 pilled right now. Wasn't Rockwell's RG named Archimedes?
It was.
I was gonna say it was named Archimedes, so there could even be like a joke of like Athena and Archimedes like hate each other and they can't be near each other. Like they're on opposite ends. That could be a fun
Archimedes
little-
was Rockwell's Argent, but he didn't take it back with him.
And the Argent's like really sad about it.
Yeah. And then they could be reunited near the end of the show.
That's
Emotional moment with Rockwell.
Emotional moment for Rockwell. He doesn't care about his daughter anymore. It is the bird.
He's gonna get the aberration, and Helena's gonna be like, "Aren't you gonna try to resurrect your daughter while you're a squid?" And he's like, "No, Archimedes.
Archimedes, I need you.
I don't give a fuck about Charlotte."
Element, what's that? I have the bird.
Alright, so Blockbeam.
So, Oofsing Games.
I know you've said before, and you made it very clear that as a map itself, you don't really care for Ragnarok.
I do not. I do not.
But, what do you think about the Ragnarok theme?
I was literally going to say that I didn't actually first time catch the like remix Ragnarok ARK theme.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh my god, having an ARK Nordic, because that's not from the trailer, is it? That's not the trailer theme, is it?
What do you mean?
It is. The music that's playing in the background, that's not the music that plays in the Ragnarok trailer, right? Like, I'm going crazy. But,
it's very close.
But yeah, it's the same sort of thing. Because we've never really had, besides, I'm going to butcher its name, Fensliffer? something.
Fenrirsifer.
Yeah, that's what I said. Because he uses the music of Ragnarok's trailer as the boss theme. We never really had like a full-on Nordic ARK theme, and that playing is really good. I could actually just talk about the music of this show for hours, and we got some big stuff with the music later.
Oh yeah,
or later is in different videos. But it's definitely like I didn't notice that. It sounds really good.
That is something that I want to point out. If you guys have been enjoying me and Block covering the ARK show and talking about it, when part 2 comes out and we start making videos where we talk about the music in the show, we have found some really cool shit. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, no, I really like the Ragnarok theme. It's one of my favorites, and I really like that it's playing here. Also, Jeremy definitely fought to get Survival of the Fittest mentioned in the show. Which is a really big shame, because it's dead. Or, well, right now it's dead. It might come back later next year. Yeah. We don't know.
I also, the Champions of the ARK, or not Champions of the ARK, whatever the Survival of the Fittest theme plays, like before she throws the chicken wing, that plays as well. The like actual Survival of the Fittest theme plays.
Yeah.
Or at least a remix of it. Which this is sort of like a world building thing that I really like about this show is you essentially have the Roman Empire with Nerva. You had, did we know the name of John's tribe?
I don't think they had a tribe name, but we know that by the end of during part 2 they call the new tribe Thundertown.
Yeah, so we'll just say the Thunder Tribe, I guess.
Yeah.
Just like that with the Thunder Tribe of like they had a lot of like Native American culture and like they brought people in, but like it was a very Native American sort of tribe. And now we have, I know we don't know their names, but I'm hoping these are the Howling Wolves, and I'm hoping like this is the Vikings.
Yeah.
Like so you have all these factions that like come together and just build places to live on the Ark,
rebuilding their societies from Earth,
and it brings back to the point of what are you doing with your second chance at life? They're just doing the same thing they did in their previous life. They're just building the empire.
I do want to point out that Jeremy mentioned that Queen Sigrid and her followers, they do believe they're in Valhalla right now.
Oh, I didn't catch that part.
Yeah, Jeremy mentioned that they think they're just in Valhalla, which kind of makes sense, because like if she really was from that time, and I'm assuming she probably died in combat, because that's how you get into Valhalla, right? You die, you have to die in combat.
You have to die in combat, yeah.
Yeah, so assuming that she died in combat, and then she wakes up on the Ark, well, of course she'd think she's in Valhalla.
Yeah, it's because that's something that like I think it's more of a Rockwell thing, and I know he's not here, but I miss him dearly. But I did want to say that one of the things that give credence to one of the sort of hints we know where Rockwell's character is going is that one thing that's very interesting is that the characters in the show know they have died. Because in the notes, they don't know for certainty.
Yeah.
It's not until later they know that they have 100% died, and this they were just like plucked from wherever they were. Like for them to think they're in Valhalla, they have to know they have died already.
Mm-hmm.
And even Rockwell in the episode 1, and some people think of the afterlife, others purgatory, but I call it the ARK. So a large percentage of people know they are dead, and either aren't willing to admit it, like Nerva, because like I died, but like he doesn't understand that his home probably doesn't exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Well, characters like Rockwell obsess over that to be like, I've died, but I'm back. Resurrection is possible.
And I could bring my daughter back.
Yeah.
Oh God, what was it? That is another thing. Like, again, I don't want to offend any Explore Note purists. So what I'm about to say, I am extremely sorry if I get this wrong. I believe, because it's been a while since I've read the notes. I'll be honest. I used to read them all the time. Been a while. I believe in Extinction. Kazuma, I think is his name. The guy, the other mech pilot that's with them. I believe when I think in Santiago's notes, he says that when talking about his past, he doesn't say that Kazuma died. He says that his memories end shortly after the academy. So I think that, yes, in the notes, they do not know that they have died.
Yeah, because I think it's the clone realization that like makes them realize that because they know it's not a normal thing, but I don't think they've really, because this is a just topic, but it would be sort of impossible for your brain to wrap around the idea that you have died but you're still alive.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think people's brains are willing to admit themselves that, like, being on an ARK, you also wouldn't have time to sit down and think, wait, am I dead? Or, like, have I died? You'd be, holy crap, the raptor wants me.
Yeah. Which is, like, what I said earlier, like, it would be really nice to have some scenes of Helena questioning the ARK and shit, but she's got some other stuff to worry about right now.
Yeah.
She kind of had it easy in the notes. She was just flying around looking at mammoths and shit.
Rockwell gave her a bird and basically on top. Just don't land in the redwoods and you'll be fine. Like,
yeah, don't fly through the redwoods. Make sure Athena's stamina's good and you're golden.
Yeah.
The last thing that I do want to mention is Queen Sigrid really wants to fuck Henry.
Yeah, she gives him the bedroom eyes, dude. You like, she's like she wants Henry, and Henry seems very much indifferent.
I guess that's another thing. Like, we haven't really talked about it. Like, this is probably where Henry and May go. They're like, hey, Howling Wolves, or whatever they're gonna end up being called, how about you join us to fight Nerva? And Queen Sigrid's like, have May participate in my blood sport, and if she wins, then sure, whatever.
Yeah.
That's probably where this is going.
Okay. Lot of things happened. So I'll just start off and say I love the goofy chibi Bob's Tall Tales style of animation they're doing with like even the Paper Mario level of stuff.
And they said Paper Mario was an inspiration.
I love when shows take like a really random art style, just be like, let's just try this, It doesn't fit thematically at all. Like, it makes no sense for this to be the animation style they've to go with. But it's really, really good. And the music that plays, I think it's called Operation Titano or something like that. Yeah. The music's really good. It has this sort of like just upbeat, like, this is crazy, but we need crazy.
It's like kind of like an ARK spy theme almost.
Yeah, it's a really good theme, and I need to stop talking about the music. Other things I like is, I kind of wish they didn't tell us this. Mm-hmm. They did tell us that like nothing in this scene goes to plan.
Yeah.
I wish they didn't tell us that, but I will say one of my favorite details, and I don't know if it's intentional or just like an oversight or anything, I love that their strategy is to have Henry lure the Equus or have the Titan follow the Equus, trap it in, but like not have a way for Henry to get out.
He is
so
stuck down there.
He's just stuck with a titan in a crevice.
I would say that like this is where Henry dies, but we have seen him in the Overseer arena, so we know that he doesn't die there. But yeah.
I'm sorry. I always bring it back to Rockwell, but I just have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Core is aware of Rockwell and what he did because he has the like mind control tonic.
Yeah.
Because we know from the notes that Rockwell's first ever stew was the mind wipe tectonic.
Mm-hmm.
And the obedience, he calls it the obedience tonic.
Yeah.
That's something Rockwell would make. And it's odd that Core has that. So I think Core maybe found one of Rockwell's labs or like the thing and found the recipe. And that's why they're like, Hava, you do it. You're old, you can you're old, you can do it, right?
She actually gets something to do.
Yeah. I know we had said that it's sort of like it might be a minor reference to the Sanguine elixir because it's helping with taming and it's like a potion in a bottle.
Yeah.
It's green, not red. It might be a minor reference. It might just be like sort of, just this little like it's just a potion.
See, I think I think it's less that like Core found one of Rockwell's like laboratories or something, but like they were working together for a while. Rockwell was a part of the Alliance, so yeah, Core might have seen him as a friend before. And I think when Rockwell left the Great Alliance to go work with his buddy Nerva, he probably just left the recipe for that at like Core's compound or somewhere else, and Core was just like, okay, I'll take that then.
Yeah, there's, I don't know. I thought it was very odd that he has it, and the way he talks about it is like very cryptically. He's like, it wouldn't like, but only the most skilled among us may brew it. He's like really, he seems like he's whispering about it, like he shouldn't have it.
Rockwell might hear him.
Rockwell's coming for him.
Maybe Rockwell's in the room with them because he's already turned good by this point. Like we know he's going to.
Yeah, reverse character art.
And we gotta say it though. The pop-up at the end.
So this is mostly, so one of the things that they had said for the part 2 of the show is that it's going to have a lot of references to the game that like people are going to really like. Mm-hmm. And you youngins might not know this, but before you had the pop-up where it's like you've tamed something, enter a name, you would have that pop up at the top of your screen. You'd have the you've tamed blank with like a holographic icon.
Yeah.
And my favorite is that I hope there's reference to this somewhere, because you didn't get the pop up to name it, I don't think, but you would get the dossier. That's how you got dossiers back in the day. Is that they would open right as you tamed it. So if you were if you were taming in a hot zone and you're like, oh, should I be attacked? You'd like pull out your weapon and then just look at this book, and I guarantee you I've lost a few tames to that. But yeah, that text specifically is for when did they do the UI change?
The UI, I know Ragnarok was out when the UI change happened, and I remember the community went like fucking ballistic.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't tell that it was just a better UI. Like it was better.
Here's the hot take of the video.
Yeah.
UI changes are 99% of the time for the better. You're just not used to it.
Yeah, that real.
Except Rainbow Six, which changes this UI literally every update. I don't even play Siege anymore, but I like every time I load up that game, it's a new menu.
We gotta make sure we can't get into like a Siege rant in the middle of our ARK video.
Yeah.
Anyway. We'll be here for hours.
Yeah.
But no, they did specify, which I find really weird, because they said it's the entire show is based off of like early ASE. And that's why the pop-up looks like that. Because they could have just done, like, the new, like, you have tamed a blank without, like, the holographic text. But they're specifically going for, like, the old one. And we know it's also not based off ASA because, like, the obelisks and stuff. But I think it's really interesting, like, the time period of ASE that they're basing the show off of.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, I'm all for it. Because you didn't really have... The only thing we really had back in old ASC, and back again with you youngins with like no story and like whatever. The only thing we knew definitively about ARK's story was there was a character named Helena. She was the author of the dossiers.
We didn't know her name.
Well, yeah, I know we had the author, and there was the character wrote the dossiers. We didn't know who it was. We knew of another character named Rockwell who would leave notes around with recipes.
Yep.
And all we knew is we're being monitored in some way. That's literally all we knew about ARK's story, and it was a simpler time.
I mean, it was a simpler time, but the story has grown, and it's damn good. I know I've said many times throughout us talking about the show that I think the show is better than the notes, but that doesn't mean I think the notes are bad. The note story is still one of my favorite things ever.
I love Gabriel's story, how it doesn't go anywhere and nothing is explained.
I think Gabriel is the only bad Explorer note story in the game.
It was a cool concept of this survivor that has two minds and one of them might be Rockwell, and they're like, we will not explain anything, and he is dead.
And it's not even the minds are combined. It's he's mostly the prospector, and then he'll wake up because he had a dream about being the cultist, and he'll be like, oh, that's weird.
That was strange. Anyway,
that was strange. I'm gonna give this element dagger to the god on the other ring.
He wants it. He needs it.
Yeah. But amazing clip though. It was really good.
No, yeah, I like the really cutesy art style.
And the Gigantopithecus, army of standing apes.
Yeah, Gigantopitheci.
Those guys.